And again, the guest declined the invitation. So the king told the servants, well, go out and invite everyone, not just the special guest. Go out and invite the good, the bad, the rich, the poor, the educated, the uneducated. Invite everyone. Everyone is invited to the kingdom for this banquet, for this feast that I have prepared. And on the day of the feast, the king walked around the banquet hall, and it was filled with guests. But he noticed one guest in particular that was not properly attired. He wasn't dressed for a banquet that was being held in the kingdom's hall. And the king noticed this, and he walked over to the guest and he said, I'm getting ghetto again. He's like, what's up with that? You come to my party, you drink my liquor, you drink my celery juice, and you don't even care enough to dress for the party? And the guest was speechless. He had no words. So the king said to his servants, bind him hand and foot and cast him out into the sea of darkness, where there will be much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. And I was like, whoa, they didn't play in those days. Bind him hand and foot and kick him out into a sea of darkness, where there will be much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. He said, there has to be a metaphysical translation. Jeez. So I took that into contemplation, into prayer and meditation, opening my heart and my mind and my soul and my very beingness to the infinite wisdom that is nearer than my hands and feet, closer than my breathing. I said, I am open and I am receptive to divine insight of what this means. And it came to me that what that meant is that, first of all, it's impossible for some of us to be chosen and some of us to be left out. It's impossible for some of us to be favored. You've heard that saying before, you're in God's favor. We're all in God's favor. Because we are one with an infinite, omnipotent omnipresence that we are made visible out of. We are all chosen to come to the party. We are all wanted. We are all needed. We are all expressions of this power and presence. We are always given the invitation to be amazing, to live the life that we truly desire, to live a life of wholeness. But here's the thing. We all want our goodies, don't we? We all want to come to the party and hang out. We all want the celery juice and the wine and the oxen and all that stuff. But we don't want to do the work in consciousness to properly attire ourselves, to come into the vibrational alignment with the good that has been prepared for us. And I understand that because I used to be that way. And sometimes I can still be that way. Where I just want the good without having to change. Where I just want the good without having to grow, because growth is uncomfortable. It's like, leave my misery behind? Really? I'm comfortable with it though. But I want my good. And so what happens, I remember being invited to a party when I was first invited to sing background vocals behind Bette Midler. I had not properly attired myself. The gift was there. I was invited to the banquet. And I didn't feel good enough to be there. I couldn't even enjoy it. And there was much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. So what that means is that even when we show up for the party, even when we show up for the banquet, are you ready? Have you clothed yourself in the consciousness of your oneness and your union with the divine? Knowing that you are whole, perfect, and complete. Have you done the work? Because if not, you'll go to the party, you'll show up, and you won't be dressed. And you will be thrown out into a sea of darkness, which is your own doubt, fear, and uncertainty, and erroneous beliefs of separation. And there will be much weeping and gnashing of the teeth. And then there was a time when there were those of us, we just declined the invitation altogether. We're like, I ain't going. I'm not ready. That's not for me. That can't be what the universe is trying to tell me, and I'm not going. I remember 25 years ago when I received an invitation. It came in a nice ivory-colored envelope. And the invitation said, Esther, your presence is requested to attend a life of sobriety free from drug addiction and alcoholism. Formal attires requested. And it showed up in my consciousness as a glimpse into sanity. It showed up in my consciousness as a glimpse into my worthiness and that voice within me saying, what are you doing? You deserve to live better than this. You're better than this. You were created to be more than this. But I declined that invitation. As my consciousness shut down, and I said, wait a minute, I'm not a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I just need to do the drugs on the weekends instead of every day. I just need better drugs. People are just making way too big a deal out of this. So I threw that nice ivory-colored invitation, that nudge that we get when it's time to change and when it's time to grow. I threw it on top of the desk with all of the other unanswered mail that I didn't want to deal with. But here's the thing about the divine invitation. It's like the IRS. It doesn't stop coming just because you ain't ready to deal with it. It doesn't stop showing up just because you are tired or something. It just comes with a little more urgency. So the next invitation came in a pink envelope, starting to get a little more intense. And it showed up as my losing yet another job because of poor attendance and mediocre work, substandard work. And as my utilities being shut off once again. I looked at that invitation and I threw it on the desk and I'm like, it's not my fault. Those employers would just understand that I'm tired on Mondays. And the utility companies would just give me one more extension. It's not my fault. I threw that invitation on the desk. The universe, if it had words, saying, oh beloved, oh beloved, I gotta give you the beat down. It's gonna be okay, but you're gonna feel like you're dying. But here I come. And it showed up as the red envelope. The red invitation. Code red. As my family knocking on my door to remove my daughter from an unfit home. And my looking in the mirror at an emaciated body from the abuse of alcohol and drugs. And an intuitive knowingness in my gut that this was my last chance. That I was going to die if I did not answer or accept this invitation. I looked at that red invitation and I said, you don't have to get so upset about it. Okay. All right already. And so I stand before you today 25 years sober. I received another one 6 years ago when I was doing background vocals for Rod Stewart. It came as a restlessness in my gut. It came as a feeling of boredom and discontent that Bill Wilson talks about in Alcoholics Anonymous. It came as a divine impulse saying, you've outgrown this situation. You've been given this amazing opportunity. And now you're ready for something more. And I looked at that ivory-colored envelope and I said, you want me to give up my gig?